At DNA Learning Center, we are doing a hands-on experimental lab. So in this classroom and integrated lab system, students are able to do as the instructor is also carrying out the experiment or research. In this lab, we call it a wet lab. This is where we do mainly DNA extraction, do RNA extraction and all protein work, basically understanding molecular biology from DNA extraction up onto where we are able to look at our results via gel electrophoresis. So on the tables, you will see different setups for the students to use. You will see the pipettes, and then of course you will see pipette tips that are being used, and then you will see a little bit of customization. So in most of the labs, you have things like large PCR machines. We also have that here, but then we also have small PCR machines. So you see things like the Bunsen burners in big lab that use big gas, but here in this lab, with just a flicker, the students can have their own sterilization done on the table by just flicking through their own Bunsen burner. So DNA Learning Center supports customized lab experience per student, and it simply means that a student is not qualified to go out and talk about science if you have not done science. And this is the instructor's table, basically. So we have this. So we have the big thermal cycler. We also have the small thermal cyclers that we distribute to each of the tables for the students to conduct their own research at their own table. So the whole idea is to have mini machines and mini equipment that the students can also practice themselves on the go. They're not doing alternative to practicals, they're actually doing science in real time when the scientist is talking. So after we generate biological data from here, we move over to the computational biology lab section. This is the bioinformatics and computational biology lab. We are hooked up to the DNA Learning Center DNA subway, where we do most of our experimental analysis. So here, students come in, open up their laptops, and then from DNA sequencing results, they're able to now work on the biological data they have extracted from the wet lab that we just came to. So at DNA Learning Center Nigeria, we're expanding to introduce new core modules, new core courses, and our job is to build labs for students, to build labs for universities, for secondary schools, and of course for tertiary institutions, and of course agencies who are doing science. So we've gone beyond just doing the basic science. We're now able to teach microscopy, we're able to teach DNA sequencing, we're able to teach metagenomics, and of course a broad spectrum of sciences that can lead you into doing research at different areas. So human biology, cancer, plant biology, and so on and so forth. So this is where we do integrated learning experience. Okay, so this is the prep room. This is where the magic happens behind the scenes. So this is where instructors come to prepare reagents, and then of course store reagents before taking them into the classrooms for work. One of the things that DNA Learning Center runs on is we also run on green energy and renewable energy, and that's because we power 24 hours. We have reagents and enzymes that have to stay at certain temperatures. So this is where the whole story of DNA Learning Center started, and currently we have now expanded to what we call the DNA LC Nigeria Science City, which is an extensive collaboration hosted by Godfrey Okoye with the Enugu state government. And the idea is that what we are doing here can no longer accommodate Nigeria. So we have now expanded to where I will take you to next.
A university exists to do three things. Number one is research. Number two is teaching. Number three is community service. These roles of a university meet in our center, in this particular center, and interestingly called Science City. Because here research is going on, here teaching is going on, and then community service. Community service in the sense that you have a center where you can run paternity tests and be able to establish who the father or the mother of a child is. You have a center where you can sequence diseases. You have a center where you can also analyze criminal activities and be able to establish who is responsible for a particular crime. So this is the meeting point of roles of a university. You can say this is a mini university. It actually does all that a university is expected to do in society. So we're moving straight to this beautiful center.
DNA Learning Center Nigeria Science City is built as a universal city for science. So the idea is that we have a trinity, 3 wings of the building. The middle building is the heart of the building that does the core science. And then we have 3 centers there. We have the Center for DNA Forensics and Criminal Investigation. We have the Center for Advanced Studies and Training. And then we have the Centers for Research and Innovation. Then we have the Center for STEM Incubation and Bio Entrepreneurship Hub. And then on the left wing, we have the Center for Advanced Visual Animation and Machine Learning. And then, of course, we have the DNA TV and DNA radio, and of course, podcast. So what we are going to show you now is the already completed Center for DNA Forensics and Criminal Investigation that will serve as a hotspot for forensics, criminal justice, and public health. So let's go. Welcome to the DNA Learning Center Nigeria Science City. So we have 3 collaborations, and currently we have the government of Enugu State, led by His Excellency Dr. Peter Mba, and then we have the host Vice Chancellor, Professor Christian Anieke, and then of course the Director of this center, Professor George Ude. These 3 stakeholders continue to oversee resources and collaborations to make this place a public-private partnership, which is the only thriving model for businesses in the world to continue to advance. So beyond just coming in here, you witness that we created a melting point for all the wings of the building to meet. So this will be a central meeting point. Now, in the phase 5 of this project, we're developing a science museum here, Nigeria's first walk-in science museum. What would that do for us is that people can trace back how the scientist has done. They can feel, they can touch, and they can interact with real science. So you could look up animals here in our virtual world and then discuss with the animals and then ask animal questions, and of course with AI, interact with animals in real time. First thing, when you walk in here, you have the security check-in office. Of course, all from the gate, all throughout, we have a closed circuit TV monitoring systems all through because we are partnering not just with the state government, but because we are doing forensics, we are also working with the federal government through the Office of National Security Advisor, who are actively working with us to make sure that the regulations and of course data management policies of the federal government are in tune and in sync, and we are able to obey all of those legal framework. Again, we are expanding. So what you will see here is that we have an open air service room. We are currently running on inverter batteries now, and we'll keep expanding. Our aim is to have at least 600 panels running on 120 kVA and 150 kilowatts of energy. We want to completely go off grid, and that's because if we're going to store human samples for 10, 20 years to maintain the integrity for investigations, we have to keep lights running all through to go. And then we have the security and control CCTV rooms. We watch in real time what's going on in all the rooms and all the buildings. So on your right, you have the boardroom where the major decisions are taken by the stakeholders. This is where we keep, and then of course we'll keep expanding, having more tables and more chairs as we expand our partnerships and our collaborations. Then we have the office of the directors, the secretary's office. We have a staff lunchroom. Then we have the biorepository and archives room where all the file systems will go in. And then we have a -80 freezer for us to store samples in the long term. In this building, we have 16 conveniences because we know that the human body is quite unique. So anywhere you are, you can find one quite easily. So once you start to go up, it means that you have some important things to do, so you become more careful. Now, when we are done with accreditation, we'll be installing, of course, access key cards and locks that would make sure that no one is permitted to get access to this lab. So usually when you come into a clinical lab, the first place you have is the washroom. This is where you doff. You have your disposable lab coats, and then of course, this is where the cleaning happens. You pick up things you need, and then your headgear, your mouth, you cover up yourself, and then pick up your shoe, doff off your stuff, and then you move. This is the genealogy and of course cybercrime center. Here is where all the data aggregates and converges for us to now use and share to the world. So this is the first room that you come into as a forensic scientist. Your job is to log in everything you are going to do today of the day, and then dress up in case you haven't done that already. But mostly for those doing quite sterile work, you have to change into the sterile lab coat once you come in here, because this is a unilateral lab. You go all through to the end before you come out. And then at each section, you have to change your lab coat and wear a new one for the section of the lab that you are working on. So we have that machine over there. It's called the Automate Express. It is for DNA extraction. So the job of a single person is to prep and load, and then we can extract DNA from 13 samples in 30 minutes. So it means that we can get as much as 500 samples in a day from just working this machine, just a little bit over 18 hours. The PCR and quantification section. So here we've gotten some top of the line equipment. So we have the genetic analyzers, the 6 Studio 7.0. Here we're able to do paternity testing. We're able to do genetic sequencing. We're also able to look at genetic variants of different pathogens, and then of course different diseases, HIV, Lassa fever, and so on and so forth. So of course here, this is, we have a mini store. This is where you come in to pick things you need. Everything you need is on this floor. And then of course a lunch and meeting room. And then of course we have our research that we're equipping now, usually general diagnostics, because our plan is to host PhD level students here conducting the research here on forensics basically. So all the data we generate will not just be for discussion, but will be to continue to train more people and of course make determinations public health wise, and then of course in criminal justice. Here we have the sample handling and microscopy. So when you go to a crime scene, a lot of things are left off in the crime scene. So from cloth, from spills, body fluids, and so on and so forth. But if the specimen becomes one of particular interest, so this is theater magnifier. So you're able to turn on the lights, and then just with your bare eyes, you're able to look through the magnifying lenses, and this does up to 400x. So you're able to see tiny fragments of pieces of maybe sweat, hair, and things dropped off on the materials that you're looking at. By chance, you didn't see what you're looking for here, but you think something might be there. You now move into the microscopy room where we are working with trinocular microscope and of course inverted microscopes to make sure that we're able to look through deep tissue microscopy, and then hopefully as we expand we get a fluorescent microscopy. Then we're able to now look at skin cells and of course look at lesions and look at injuries deeply to understand what nature of crime was committed, and of course subsequently different levels of public health pathogens that has been flagged for surveillance. So we have our own reference, we call it the reference library, and a reference learning section. So we'll have a section for digital library where we are going to be hooking up to the Godfrey Okoye e-library. Our books are on the way. We're currently starting with 1,000 books, top of the line forensic books, and of course older books. We're also having goodwill. We have older forensic professors donate books on bones, and of course fingerprinting, which are some of the oldest methods of forensics science that has been made. And then of course the goodwill means that we'll soon be having intercultural professional meetings where we'll have professors from India, from Europe coming to lecture here, and of course coming to bring their expertise in this particular building, because they're already sending us their books. Some of them are going on sabbatical. Of course I trust the Vice Chancellor to also bring them down here. And then one good thing is that we hope that the NUC will also work with Godfrey Okoye to mount a forensic program that is up to global standard, because currently we don't have a forensic program in Nigeria that meets international standards. Now we've already built the facility that can cater to forensic degree and forensic science at any level you can see in the world. So the remaining thing is the approval to now begin to host students and train our people to become forensic scientists, which is now the missing link between what we've done and what Godfrey Okoye is doing currently. We're currently assembling the chairs and the screens for the training lab. So this is where we hope to keep at least 50 to 75 students per time. And in this training, we will have the military, the police, the Air Force, the force people, basically students, faculty from all over the world, training in forensics. And one of the good things about this facility is this is the first time we have an integrated forensic services facility. So we're not just doing one kind of forensics, we're doing every forensic service, which is from training, service, and of course to research. And that's what makes this place a different kind of building. We have developed our own crime scene simulation room. Welcome to the crime scene simulation room. Now, the idea of this facility is that in this part of the world, we might not be able to have a lot of resources, but we think that with what we have, we can catch criminals, we can tell a story of what would have happened at the crime scene. And that goes from how we cordon off the crime scene, of course, by training, that will happen here also. And then we're able to identify key points, key specimens, samples, things that might lead us to have suspects in custody, or of course determine what kind of crime had happened. So you also have like a weapon that has been picked from the crime scene, in this case a sniper, that has been used for this because that was left at the crime scene. And this whole thing helps you to pick out basic things from the crime scene, and if there's need for further analysis, of course, this is where you will now take it upstairs, and this is where we call upstairs biosafety level 2, because you need authorization to go upstairs.
As you can see, this is the first building you see as you enter the main gate of Godfrey Okoye University. This building makes the statement. What statement? That a university exists for three things, three basic things. Number one is teaching. Number two, research. Number three, community service. So you know already as you enter the first gate of the university that this is what the university exists to do. And that's it. So I would like to express my profound gratitude to Mike, who has actually taken us through to see what the DNA Center for Forensic and Criminal Investigation is all about. Students must learn that somebody who has gone outside the country can come back and make his contribution. Mike traveled as soon as he finished his studies, studied outside Nigeria, and here he is, coming back with beautiful ideas and making contributions and bringing others too, like Victor and others. So all those graduating from our university, please don't just jabba, think about what you're going to do for this university and for Nigeria after all your studies and all your moving around to get exposure. That's the meaning of the training, that's the meaning of being a student of Godfrey Okoye University.